So if you remember from my rocker video, I couldn't figure out exactly how to install the inner rockers. And now seeing on this side that I have some of the rocker actually left, I can see that there's supposed to be another piece between the two that slopes down. And this is the inner rocker. On the other side, I welded it right to there. So it's like 1.5 inches too tight. And that's giving me a wonky shape on my rocker over there. So this is the inner rocker for this side. And you can see how it's supposed to lay up in there like that, just like that. So I need to make this angled piece that bridges the two rockers together, and then I will have a much better rocker situation. And it'll be super, super strong. So that's what I need to do next. Last week when I was welding on my Plymouth, when I'd let off the trigger, the wire would keep feeding out. And I was reading online that it could be these contact points. So I'm gonna try to clean those up and hopefully that'll solve the problem. So I'm just gonna stick that between the point contact. Of course, the welder is unplugged and off and everything. Stick that between there, push down on that and then pull it out just to clean it up, pull it out. And we'll see if that fixes the problem. All right, let's see if that solved the issue. Nope. Yeah. That must be it. But it did it again. I saw it do it again. It's working fine now, but it did do it once. So I assume that's my problem. I'm just gonna have to clean a little bit more, but I think we solved the issue. So I picked up something really cool on eBay. I think it was Mopar Direct I bought it from, eBay seller. If I can get it out of the box. Ooh. Oh, there we go. A new old stock horn trim ring. Man, that looks cool. That's gonna be nice. Very cool. So I have removed the inner rocker now that I know how it fits, and I'm just going to put a piece of square tubing in the outer edge. It's going to set out a little farther than it should. I don't have a short enough. Here, we'll pretend this is square tubing. It's going to sit out a little farther than it's supposed to, and then I'm going to bridge this gap with some 18 gauge. I wish I had a bunch of good angle iron. I'd just use that, but I got square tubing, so that's what we're using. But I'm going to do square tubing out to here, all the way back, and all the way up to the toe board. And then, when both sides are done, I'm going to take the outer quarters off and the lower rocker. I'm going to cut this section out, and I'm going to build, you can see in here, right there, that's an inner brace. Sorry, that's an inner brace that goes all the way back. So I'm going to build that from the outside, probably with just some square tubing and reinforcements, because it'll be super strong. And we're not doing a restoration. This is going to be a custom car when it's all said and done, really. Alrighty, old rocker cut out. I got this piece of square tubing run all the way to the back, and it reaches the inner braces, so that's really cool. And up front, and then once that's in, I'll get the inner rocker in, and we are really going to be in great shape. If you are wondering why I jumped back to the rockers and not the door, because I'm really low on shielding gas for my welder, and I don't want to take the door back off and put it up on the bench just to run out of shielding gas and have to run an errand before I can finish it. With the rockers, it's not a big deal if I don't finish them. I kind of want to burn up the rest of the gas that I have because I only have one tank. So I don't want to be, there we go. I don't want to run and drop it off if I have, you know, gas left in it. I want to burn it all up. And if the welds get a little ugly on the inner rockers, that's okay. There we go. So let's get some spot welds done. See how long the gas goes. And see if my welder holds up too. Let's see if it, you know, continues to be normal. So far, so good. There we go. That's enough to hold that in place. Boink. Just some rosette welds for now. All right. We'll go ahead and get one right here. Tack that into place. I'll remove these clamps. Actually, you know what? Clamp that up out of the way somewhere. There we go. I'll have to jump in here with you guys for a second, probably. Oh boy. I'm getting so old. There we go. Let's see if we can adjust this. It's not hateful. Missed the target a little bit a couple times. Oops. There we go. That'll do. I think I can get that also. Tough to see in there. I got it. There we go. Nice and strong all the way back. All right. Now I get this middle section fit and put in. And then we'll have inner rockers before you know it. Cool. Let's put this on time lapse, I guess. That is so much better. You can see now that piece of square tubing lines up all the way across. I'm going to be able to build the support from that inner dog leg down to that square tubing, which is going to be really strong. I'm going to bridge this gap, which originally was a U channel that I guess the wiring ran through. We don't need all that. So I'm going to bridge that gap, just lay a piece of 18 over it and weld it in and seam seal it, because it'll get a sill plate anyway. It'll never get seamed. And then up here, the square tubing runs all the way in, so I'll have something to build that A pillar, the bottom of that A pillar, into that to where the inner cowl, where the fender mounts. I'll have a lot to go by on that, and now I can build, I could build that lower inner panel too, A pillar panel. Shoo, mush mouth. But that is so much better than it was before. I'm very happy with that. We are trucking. Oh, luckily, I've got a little piece of 18 gauge that I can just clean up and use. I don't have to cut another piece. Cool. It started to rain a little bit, so I just kind of hammered through that. But basically, all I did was take a piece of 18 gauge, flange it, slide it underneath that 20 gauge or whatever it is, and weld the seam and spot weld or plug weld it to the top of that piece of square tubing, and then I'll just smear it with seam sealer when it's all done. So it's not perfect, but definitely stronger than it ever was. All right, let's go ahead and get this, where'd I put my camera stand? Let's get this door back off. I'm going to use this piece of angle iron as a straight edge to grind my door bottom level. And then I'm going to flip it back over, take the backside back off. Well, make a couple pieces, take that off, grind it flush, and then start welding everything in solid. And grind all my welds and treat this, because it sat outside, it sits outside, and it got a little rusty. So we'll fix that right up too. I finally ran out of welding gas. I got this corner done. I got the top cut and butt, but it's just tacked in. I got almost all the welding done in the bottom. I just got to make this last corner. That's kind of a mess. And then flip it over and make the door skin. So we're almost done with the bottom of the door. And it's only noon, so maybe I'll get this and the rockers done. All right, I got all the pieces of the inside of the door made and welded in. It's not looking too bad. I started grinding it, but I'm not in the mood to finish grinding it. So I'm gonna flip it over and take the front skin off and try to get inside of it, make sure everything's cleaned out, and make the outside skin before I wrap up for the day. All right, so I decided to go ahead and cut that outer skin back off. So you could see that there's no rust encapsulated in here. It's all new metal, it's all butt welded together. I'm gonna get in here and clean up some of these welds and grind some of it back and maybe touch up some welds that's a little thin from the inside, and then I'll paint all this rust. And I gotta attach this bracket inside the door. So that's what's next. I just blasted some black paint down in there. I'm making a mess today. I just want to get this new door skin on. All right, so I got it welded and grinded. It's not perfect. There's still little edges. And it lifted a little bit where I welded it, which is fine. That's why I hammered and dollied it down. But for what this car is going to be, it's going to be fine. It's still a little flat in here. I don't have an English wheel to put really any shape in it. I put a little bit of a bow in it using the tailgate of my truck, but nothing to put some shape in the center. But I think it's going to be okay. It won't be noticeable. I think once I crimp it along the bottom, hammer out more of that high spot, it should bulge that up on its own, hopefully. Whew, I'm whooped. It's getting late. I have made a colossal mess in my shop again, but I think the door saga is done. It's not perfect, but it's workable.